Hello, this is going to be my third and final support DPS build. This goes along with the other Trials team builds I have. Check out my channel for that. Check out the Trials team playlist folder's got all my other builds in there. I'm not going to go over that because videos are there to watch if you want to. Martial Machine. This is my Martial Knowledge War Machine. This pairs very well with the Elemental Slayer, so you can keep Major Slayer up on your team for a very long time without any drop off, and it allows your healer to free up from running Rojo, which is a pain in the ass build in my opinion. So let's go over the specifics of this build. Um, Character screen real quick. All 64 points into stamina. Lava foot soup for the food. Thief Mundus stone. Um, go over the gear real quick. Front bar, precise lightning staff with a flame glyph. Martial knowledge. Make sure you use a front bar lightning staff if you're beaming, and a back bar infused Maelstrom Greatsword. It doesn't have to be perfected if you don't have the perfected one. That only adds back bar penetration, so don't sweat over that if you don't have the perfected version. Um, Together, these two things, a lightning staff buffs direct damage and channels by 12%. This will buff your direct damage for 18 seconds by 12%. So I know it says 10% there, but when I get my weapon damage up, it'll go up to 12. So that's 24% increase to your beam just with those two components there. Then I have a medium Slimecraw to get the crit chance bonus. War Machine is on the body. All these are medium divines with the stamina glyph. Spaulder of Ruin to increase your group's damage by 260 points for the weapon and spell damage category. This mythic does not affect the wearer, so you have to have two people in the group run this to give everybody the buff. So that's why my Power of Zen is the other person wearing the other Spaulder to cover everybody in the group with this. Um, then I have Bloodthirsty Weapon Damage Jewelry of Martial Knowledge. So there's the three here. And then on the front bar. This set, all you have to do is keep your stamina below 50% and light attack one time every 8 seconds. So really easy to keep up on a beam build. I'm still wearing a trial set here to get Minor Slayer. It's medium armor. So not going to get quite as much damage out of this as you would with Null Arca or Onsul, something like that. However, you are buffing your entire team with a massive buff right here. This is going to end up being 50 seconds of Major Slayer if you have this proc properly. And then on my back bar, I have Glacial Colossus. So back bar ultimate is 20 seconds of major vulnerability. So Major Slayer and major vulnerability, again, that's another that's 20% increased damage to your group, plus the 8% that you keep up with martial knowledge. To go over my banner real quick, I have the increase to direct damage with the Cavalier's Charge and Minor Heroism. The direct damage glyph is Shock, in case you don't know that part. So, the classes I have are Nightblade, Gravelord, and Herald of the Tome. And then I have, for the first skill here, I have Concealed Weapon. This is here essentially just to proc, provide me rather with Minor Expedition on either bar that increases my Cavalier's Charge. Gravelord's Sacrifice increases my damage by 3%, also gives me the Major Savagery and Prophecy buff, as well as it does quite a bit of damage, as you can see by the numbers there. It has a direct damage explosion at the end as well. On my rest of my front bar here, I've got the Flail and the Beam, and then Flawless Dawnbreaker is here to increase front bar damage and to generate ultimate when we kill people. Relentless Focus. This is a passive 400 weapon damage that just sits on our back bar. We don't use it, it's just there to buff the build. This gives us our Major Brutality Sorcery buff, as well as generates a Crux. Inspired Scholarship is extremely powerful. Make sure you have this on your build if you're going to set this up. Gravelord Sacrifice is somewhat of a flex spot for me right here. This is here for a couple reasons: to keep the Gravelord penetration up from the Dismember passive. If you don't have an active Gravelord ability, then this penetration does not kick in. The other thing is it increases the damage of this by 15% as well as this, so this does quite a bit of damage increase for those two skills. And because the other one only lasts for 6 seconds, didn't want to have to flip to my back bar to do that. And then it makes it a little hectic to keep beaming if you have to manage the blast bones every 6 seconds. So then I have Stampede. This is proccing our back bar Maelstrom, the banner again, and then we have Glacial Colossus for the skills. Let's go into the CP real quick. This is predominantly a direct damage build, so we're going to have Master at Arms. This biting aura needs to be slotted instead of deadly aim. And then we have Exploiter for off balance. The EC in the group provides off balance with the shock staff on the back bar, so make sure you always slot Exploiter if you've got off balance in your group. Fighting Finesse is my last CP there. Again, 1, 2 up here always, and then for content, you want to make sure you have your Spirit Mastery as a DPS so you can get people back up real quick, especially with as much damage as your DPS are doing right now. If you stop to res somebody, that's a lot of damage dropped off the cliff, so make sure you get them up quick. Slot this, make it faster, get them up, get back into the fight. So that's the CP. Let's go over the food real quick and the potions. I am running, oh heck, I'll just do it this way. I'm running Lava Foot Soup, and then you can run a Weapon Power Pot if you want to, but it's not really necessary because we have our brutality, our major buffs already. Tripot is probably the best, just to keep your sustain up and all that. So that's essentially the build. This goes really well with the other setups that I have on my channel. This is going to give Major Slayer, Spaulder, and a unique 8% damage from Martial Knowledge, and as well as the Glacial Colossus Major Vulnerability, that you can keep that up pretty easily because that's a fairly cheap ultimate. It only costs 175, so even if you hit this when you get your 175 up, you're going to give Major Slayer for 17 seconds pretty easily there. So keep that in mind. This is a great build to include your team with the other setups I have. Check out my channel for the rest of the videos I've made. I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to put up some more DPS videos and things like that. Now that we have subclassing up, I've been playing around with a lot of it, making some unique builds that for for somebody that doesn't want to necessarily run the beam build that everybody's running, but I'll make those and post those. Keep an eye on my channel, check my playlists out for all my other information. Thanks for watching. Bye.